A warm welcome to you wherever it is you're reaching us from around the world. This is Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television. I am Henry Igwebiki.
And I'm Chuma Okor.
All right, let's kickstart today with all that we have from our newspaper headlines, and right after that will be conversation also. But please do well to like us, follow us, and be part of our community. You can always find and reach us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may like, comment respectfully, that is, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. We have two distinguished guests today, virtually from Lagos, Nigeria, is Dr. Olayinka Oyegbile. He is an educator and public affairs analyst. Thank you so very much, Doctor, for being here with us.
Thank you, Dr. Oyinka, for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much.
All right, and in the studios we have our one and only Meka Madunago, journalist, public affairs analyst. Thank you so very much,
Thank
Meka.
you very
Thank
much.
you so much, Mr.
Thank you.
All right, so let's start today with the first daily on our desk.
Yeah, and the first daily we have on our desk is the Punch newspaper. And we'll be starting with on the top strip. You have Kaduna returns Abacha's family property seized by El Rufai. Details are on page 23.
Okay, on the bottom strip, you equally have crashed helicopter flying NNPC officials violated regulations. That's coming from the federal government.
Okay, still on the bottom strip, we have truck crushes pedestrians to death in Lagos. Details are on page 4 and 5.
All right, interestingly, we have Oyo begins 80,000 naira minimum wage January.
Okay, still on the front page, Nnamdi Kanu's release may not end Southeast insecurity. That is coming from Soludo. And details of the particular story are on page 16.
Very, very funny and interesting also.
Yeah, very interesting.
All right, our talking point today is Nigeria, Ghana, eye better relations as Tinubu hosts a president-elect Mahama. I would love to start with you, Dr. Oyegbile. And of course, we would, the world actually watched how something interesting happened in Ghana. Interestingly, Mahama took over the position as against the party that was supposed to win that election. We have President Bola Ahmed Tinubu hosting him. Don't you think there's something that should be learned from the meeting, especially on the ends of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu? On transparency in elections, that is.
Well, President Tinubu hosting Mahama is not a surprise. They have been friends for a very long time. And he will be happy that a friend has become the president of our next door neighbor. However, beyond that, what are the lessons that we need to learn from that? The vice president that Mahama defeated took a script from Nigeria, the 2015 script from Nigeria that former President Jonathan wrote by congratulating the winner even before the election was formally declared that Mahama has won. As far as the issue of blessing for Nigeria is concerned, is it the president that is supposed to learn from the Ghana experience or the Electoral Commission?
Both, if possible.
Yes, when you look at it in other way, the president is not directly the one who conducted the election. Yes, you might say he might have some influence, but the Electoral Commission, I think we have to learn a little bit more. In fact, not a little bit, a lot more from Ghana, the Ghana experience. And the lesson that our own politicians will have to learn, although after the election results were announced, it was reported that, funny enough, it was the supporters of the incoming president that went on riot, not even the defeated candidate. And what was it? They said they went to the government offices and started chasing out those who are there that they want to take over. It's not an immediate thing. So the lessons both have to learn is from both countries. Nigeria has some things to learn from Ghana. Ghana has some things to learn from us. I think we should concentrate more on our electoral body. Let me tell you the fact. There's no country in the world where a sitting president or a sitting government will not like to influence the electoral body. It is not left for the electoral body to distance itself, to determine that it is really independent, not in name, but in actual fact. Yes, the president will appoint the electoral official or the electoral commission chairman, but that does not mean it will be answerable to him. I mean, in all honesty, the appointment of the electoral commissioner or chairman of the electoral commission is like the appointment of a central bank governor. Yes, you are appointed by the president, but that does not mean the president will dictate to you. So if an electoral chairman is appointed by a president and the chairman allows the president to dictate to him, you may not blame, we will blame the president, but the blame will not squarely be for him. Because, as I said earlier, there is hardly any president who names an electoral official who does not want to control some. It is now left for that person to show the president that, look, you can't dictate to me. I am a man, a person. This is the way I want to do it, and this is the way it is to be done.
Thank you so much, Dr.
I think
finish up. Sorry.
Yes, you can run on.
Sorry.
Okay, I wanted you to conclude on your points. That was what I was trying to say.
Yes, no, I'm just concluding that the electoral chairman or the electoral official should be the one that will dictate his independence. If you can't dictate or affirm your independence, the politician will always want to dictate to you. So that's that.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Yinka Mahama. Where do we see this better relations? Is it in the economic sector, or should we say we're going to see better relations maybe in terms of policies and co? Maybe President Tinubu inviting him over maybe to ask him some questions and wanting to know how best he could actually handle Nigerians, looking at him as the VP before and coming in as the president.
Yeah, well, thank you. Both men have a lot to discuss, Of course, he has not been sworn in, so these are just early days, So in terms of the key areas have to do with ECOWAS. ECOWAS is trouble right now. Three key members of ECOWAS, Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso, have indicated, that they will leave the regional body. That is really troubling. And then, secondly, you have the issue of security, regional security. That's a major problem. Jihadists are still causing, problems, especially in Nigeria and then in the Sahel. Then you have economic issues. Ghana is hosting the African Continental Free Trade Agreement Secretariat. And of course, there's a lot to be, there's a lot that Nigeria can gain by working closely with Ghana. Take notice that the U.S. President-elect, Donald Trump, will be coming in the matter of days. And therefore, Nigeria and Ghana need to, he has said certain things about tariffs, that if you charge the U.S. tariff, if you impose tariffs on the U.S., that the U.S. will also, counter-impose the same thing, So he's trying to bring in a new world order in terms of tariffs. But already, presidents of countries like Mexico are telling him that, look, your own businessmen are coming to our country, so don't even try to make the mistake of thinking you can bully us on tariffs. The same thing with China. China has told him clearly, you cannot bully us on tariffs. So for Africa, when you go out, even around Africa, how many made in Africa products do you see? Where can you travel to? Is it South Africa that you see any product made in Nigeria or made in Africa? It's a major problem, not made in any African country. I'm sorry. Not talk of going outside, go to Europe, go to the United States. But you will see products from South America, El Salvador, Brazil, and the rest of them. So both leaders, as leaders of the two major leading nations in West Africa, they have a lot to discuss. In terms of also educational exchanges, you have a lot of Nigerian students in Ghana. Then you have a large population of Ghanaians in Nigeria. So they have so much to discuss. And I think Tinubu has a lot to, gain. Nigeria has a lot to gain by Tinubu working hand in hand with Mahama.
Thank you so much, Emeka Magna.
Beautiful. All right, so let's move on to the Vanguard newspaper for today. And the big story here, security agents make highways hell for us. That's coming from travelers, especially as we get closer to
the yes. Okay, moving on the top strip, you have on Okwama story. Army releases its 1-year-old Okubaye to Senator Difioni, and details are on page 7.
All right, and we equally have PDP kicks as Edo Assembly suspends council chairman vice for 2 months.
Okay, moving on. Still on the top strip, we have Nigerians pay 2.23 trillion naira as ransom to kidnappers in 1 year. That is coming from the NBS.
All right, so but let's take a look at Okwama yet again. Army releases 81-year-old Okubaye to Senator Dafinoni. Yes. Doctor, I think this is actually where the role of the media, comes to play. When the second personality that was with the Nigerian military unfortunately died, Nigerians in droves, the social media, the legacy media also talked about it, and we're glad today that one of them is released, out of the military cage. To their people. What do you think we can learn going forward with this particular issue? When things happen, is it right enough for authorities to go rampaging and collecting everyone that they find in the name of saving their faces?
You see, it's a very difficult thing to tackle, because when community, some unknown faces in the community decide to attack military personnel, and it happens like that, the military, by their training, they don't, they see war, they see destroying everything as a solution. In this case, it's very unfortunate that what happened in Okwama happened. And we also have to restrain ourselves. I mean, both as civilians, as military and all that. Yes, the military men who are killed, their families. The civilians who are counter-killed have families and they have relations and all that. I'm a bit worried that somehow, I think the media we have allowed the ball to fall from our hands. What do I mean? I'm surprised that up till now, 1 year after, there are still some people who are still in detention, and the media has forgotten about them. And 81-year-old, you said? What could an 81-year-old man who should be at home tending to his grandchildren and great-grandchildren be doing in detention? What sort of detention? What could have been his offense? I think that the media will drop the ball on that. An 81-year-old man should not have been allowed. I mean, he should have been on the front pages all this while, campaigning for him, unless we didn't know he was in detention. Because at that age, I want to seriously believe I'm not 81 yet. I'm not near it. At this age, I don't think I will be campaigning for violence. So why does anybody think that an 81-year-old man will have a hand in such thing? And so I think we need to re-strategize. The military should not just go on and be arresting anybody in sight. Okay, when you arrest an 81-year-old man, assuming he even knows that the military is coming to raid the place, where do you expect an 81-year-old man to run to? Or how fast can an 81-year-old man run? So I think we need to tackle some of these things with some sense. I say, because it's very unfortunate. Very. I'm depressed. I'm depressed.
Very true.
I'm depressed.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yinka. Emeka Madnago, talking about handling this with some wisdom, and at this point, Nigerians will ask, does the rule of law still exist in this country? Taking, for example, what is happening in Okwama and for the past 1 year, does it belong to, or is it in the place for the media to do this, or our rule of law, our judiciary and court should actually stand up to ask some necessary questions?
Yeah, thank you. And last night I had to send a message out to President Tinubu that please stop the military vendetta on Okwama. Because it was very sad. It was a big letdown for President Tinubu to have given the military the power to investigate the issue. The military was a party. You can't tell somebody to be, to be judge, jury, and prosecutor in one matter, in his own matter. There were allegations that the crisis in Okwama arose from oil theft. The military was also accused of being involved in oil theft, and that was a major thing that led to that skirmish. Has it been investigated? How can you now say the military should investigate something is accused of being involved in? This is part of the reason why we still have oil theft in the Niger Delta. And Nigeria has not been able to meet its OPEC quota of 2.2 million barrels per day. And then you have to impose taxes on the citizens. You have to remove subsidy. You have to float the naira. You have to remove electricity subsidies. You have to make Nigerians suffer because of some greedy conscienceless individuals. President Tinubu really disappointed many Nigerians with that thing. There should have been an independent inquiry, because when the governor of Delta State, Sheriff Oborewore, visited the place, the military didn't allow him to go into Okwama. That is an affront on democracy, because the governor is the head of that subnational space, Delta State. So the president must step in. The people who have been arrested should be released, because the military has no power to prosecute civilians. It's not there in the Armed Forces Act. So under what fiat are they, by what power, by what legal enablement are they holding on to people from Okwama, or from anywhere for that matter?
But don't you think that the Okwama people have been unjustly neglected by the governor, Oborewore?
That's part of the problem. It's another side to the problem.
Exactly.
The criminal neglect by successive government, not just of Okwama. So many travel around Delta State. You'll be so depressed, just like Dr. Oyewila said. You'll be very depressed when you travel around some of those communities. The despoilation of the environment, the palpable poverty is shameful, it's painful. And they will tell you that they are working, they are building roads, and you have abandoned the very people who should be at the center of whatever policies you are enunciating, whatever policies you are pursuing. It is shameful. So, and I was also sent a call to the governor of Delta State. You got to wake up. Let your hand touch the rural areas. Stop concentrating on the urban centers. You are building so much in the urban centers. The rural areas, there's still palpable poverty. Many places don't have roads in Delta State. No bridges, no schools, no hospitals in Delta State. So let him also extend his hand into the inner reaches of Delta State. So that all these things, and then again, I will commend Tompolo, Chief Government Ekpemukolo, aka Tompolo, the former military leader, for the work he has been doing in ensuring that oil production increases in Nigeria, that oil theft is reduced. And I think whatever he's doing, the government should support him to make sure that oil theft is caught or totally wiped out. All those people in the military establishment, the security services who are involved in this, they should be brought to book. So that things like this Okwama matter will be a thing of the past.
Thank you so
All
much.
right, thank you so very much. We would have to leave now, but just before we do that, let's maybe take a look at just one story from the Daily Trust newspaper, and it's on the bottom strip here. Bank restrict multiple account holders to 20,000 naira withdrawal. Choma, isn't that...
That's actually outrageous at this point in time. Okay, let me actually push this to you, Dr. Lainka. You are into the financial world. You have more,
he is an educationist.
He's an educationist, but I believe he has more details on that. Looking at the point where we are at the Yuletide season, this is Christmas. And they're saying you want to restrict multiple account holders to 20,000 withdrawal. Is this the right time to even instigate or bring about such policy at this point where a lot of families might be trying to celebrate with their family, and some persons who are into charity might want to actually surprise some families, give them something to celebrate the Christmas with? When is the best time, if they are to come up with such policies, when is the best time to actually bring it up?
Well, you see, I'm amazed that the central bank is using an archaic method to solve a modern problem. How can you, for goodness sake, at this point, be restricting people from withdrawing their money? This is whether it is a Yuletide or not. You don't restrict people from having access to their money, because what you are indirectly doing is telling people not to have confidence in the banking system. So now, Nigerians have been encouraged to such a point that people no longer keep money at home. At least, I know majority of people who do legitimate business, let me put it that way, don't put money at home. So, if you now restrict me, I have 200,000 in cash, rather than take it to the bank, because I know that if I need that 200,000, you give me 20,000. Will I take it there? No. What the central bank is doing, in case it doesn't know, is to whittle down people's confidence in our banking system. The confidence that has been aroused, the confidence that has been built in before, when people keep money in bank, because anywhere you go now, people always tell you, I don't have cash. Do you take transfer? Will you use POS? And all that. But now, that little confidence that has been built over the years, you now want to erode it. I think the central bank will have a second thought about that.
All right.
It is not your business. Yes, you can have a ceiling. When they had a ceiling that you can, if you want to withdraw more than 100,000, you have to go inside and talk and all that. Fine. That is good. I love that one. But for you to say that you can't give me more than 20,000 if I have 100 or 200 and I need them, it doesn't make sense. You are eroding my confidence in the banking sector. People will begin to keep money at home now. So what is the central bank trying to achieve? It doesn't make sense. Whether it is a new time or not, it doesn't make sense. Nigerian, our money has become so, I won't say valueless. I mean, you need large cash of money to buy a few goods. That is what Nigeria has turned into. So you now say you want to give me 20,000. Let me tell you, the small car I use, if I buy the fuel of 20,000, it lasts me just 2 or 3 days. So what are you saying? You don't want to give people cash. You now ask them to. I mean, simple. They are eroding people's confidence in the banking sector. They don't know that they need to be told.
Very true. Emeka Magnago, you've often said that we run an informal,
unstructured economy. Largely unstructured.
Very well said. So the question is, I always question, someone should correct me on that, I often question the dexterity of Cardoso in handling the economy. Do you think he has got that gusto to do more?
Well, I think Cardoso has leaned more, on the retail side of banking, which he is used to, than on bringing about policies that will bring radical changes to central banking in Nigeria. Like the issue of, banks, putting a 150 million naira per branch fine on people who make money available to women who hawk naira notes. That is the retail side, you are dealing with a major problem. But that is not the reason why naira is scarce. It is the central bank policy that is to blame. That in order to curb inflation, you must mop up money from the economy.
Which is the same thing MFLA did that they were against, isn't it?
But where is it taking you to? You now have over 4 trillion naira outside the banking sector. So where is that money? You say, okay, if somebody has multiple bank accounts, if I have 5 bank accounts, that I can't get more than 20,000 naira. Yes, you may say that, but you are going to hurt people, POS operators. Because if a POS operator, you said they should register with CAC. If a POS operator has, let's say, 3 or 5 companies, that have different accounts, plus their personal accounts. Insofar as what they are doing is legitimate business, restricting them to 20,000, just like Dr. Oyegble said, you are going to erode confidence in the sector. That is one. 2, our business, the business environment is largely cash-driven. It's not the fault of Nigerians. It's your own fault. It's your own fault. You talked about cashless policy. Today, cash-based policy. Tomorrow, cashless policy. Where is the e-naira? I downloaded the app. It was on my phone. But there was nothing I could do with it because the central bank is not even pushing the e-naira. So, Cardoso, as far as I'm concerned, has yet to deal with the key issues affecting the economy, which really can actually boost the value of the naira. So, that's why I insist that people who have been in the system, in the central banking system, should be made central bank governor. You shouldn't be bringing people from outside, who have experience with retail banking, development banking, merchant banking. You can bring them to superintend over the banker of bankers. I've been opposed to it because that's why you see these disastrous policies.
Thank you so much, Emeka Maduna.
Very true.
Thank you.
All right, that's just about the time we have for this segment, and just to let you know, both Dr. Olayinka Oyegbile and Emeka Madunago will be here to take us on our main conversation.
And when we return, kidnapping epidemic, 2.2 trillion ransom paid between 2023 to 2024. We'll be discussing that shortly. To stay with us.